What is going on, everyone? Auto Endeavors here, coming back at you with another video today. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Ford Maverick and the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and we're going to be comparing and contrasting the two models. And we're also going to be taking a look at an article later on in the video discussing the differences and the similarities between these two trucks. But let's dive right on into this discussion. So basically, the Ford Maverick is Ford's latest pickup truck model that it has put out on the road for consumers to purchase. And it is an interesting vehicle for sure. There are some people who love it. There are some people who hate it. Some people love big trucks and they don't think they should be small. Some people love small trucks and that's all they ever wanted in life. Well, Ford decided to just go ahead and release this model. Now, to be honest, they haven't discontinued their full-size pickup truck line, and I don't see them ever doing so. But releasing this model does satisfy a more niche market and also a more larger market of individuals who want something that is more capable than their typical Honda Accord or Ford Fusion or what have you. So with that being said, both Ford and Hyundai have released their latest line of small pickup trucks. And this, I have mentioned before, could be the return of the small or mini pickup truck world. But nonetheless, it's definitely interesting to see both of these auto manufacturers release these small pickup trucks, especially at this time. And we're going to do a little compare and contrast in this video. So, Ford has released the Ford Maverick. You're already starting to see them on the roads and in consumers' hands. They've had a couple hiccups along the way, especially with the hybrid model and things of that nature, but it looks like things are going pretty much according to plan as far as this truck being released into consumers' hands. Now, Hyundai, on the other hand, has released their Hyundai Santa Cruz pickup truck, and this is realistically the first pickup truck, at least in America, that they have released altogether. So this is a completely unmapped territory for Hyundai as far as North America is concerned, and they are going in it full force. Now, they are touting this pickup truck as being something that, you know, the average Joe might pick up, no pun intended, and purchase for themselves because it is more capable than their standard sedan vehicle, and it still is small enough and sporty enough and, you know, maneuverable enough that it probably won't feel all of that different than driving a small sedan or mid-size sedan or even a large sedan on the roads. So they're hoping that this takes traction with consumers and this becomes a popular model on the Hyundai lineup. But both Ford and Hyundai are the first ones to jump into this market. So what we're going to do in this video is we are going to, as I mentioned earlier, compare and contrast these two vehicles, see which one is the best as far as needs are concerned and which one maybe could use a little work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over and we're going to take a look at an article discussing the exact differences and similarities between both the Ford Maverick and the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Okay, everyone, so I've got the article pulled up here. This can be found on MotorTrend.com's website, and they did a very thorough review that we are going to take a look at today. I will be linking this article in the description down below for your viewing pleasure, but with all that being said, let's dive right on into what they found and what they were able to figure out about these two very interesting, very strange, but very unique pickup trucks that have just recently been released. So basically, down here in some of the article, it says the auto industry can be so strange. The U.S. truck market soldiered on for a solid decade without even a hint of a compact model. We know this. It's been quite some time since we've seen mini trucks on the market for purchase. And now here we are comparing two of the things in the same debut model year. In one corner, we have the all-new 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz, South Korea's first ever pickup truck for the American market. In the other corner, Ford's new 2022 Ford Maverick, which is decidedly not the Blue Oval's first truck in America. Heck, this isn't even its first Maverick. We're excited, you're excited, and the buying public is very excited. Let's see what we're working with. So down here, it discusses exactly what you can expect from these two pickup trucks. So it says here, let's clear the air filter before we continue. Yes, we consider both of these unibody crossover-based pickup trucks to be trucks. They got a bed, don't they? Sure, they can can't tow as much as a body-on-frame pickup. They're not as tough off-road, and in the case of Hyundai, they don't look like your average truck either. That's all right. They ride better, steer better, drive better, and are a whole heck of a lot easier on your wallet than even something like the mid-size Tacoma, Ford's own Ranger, and other trucks of that nature. That said, these are not trucks for traditional truck buyers. Of course, you don't want to buy these trucks if you are looking to do some serious hauling, serious off-roading, and things of that nature. The Maverick and the Santa Cruz are aimed at city-dwelling active lifestyles types who want a truck bed not for crushed boulders, discarded cinder blocks, skid steer loaders, and spent whiskey barrels, which is what we assume all the true truckers are hauling, but for muddy mountain bikes, dripping wetsuits, and smoky camping gear and vintage furniture they just found down at the local flea market. So this is definitely a millennial thing, right? And millennials are getting to an age where they are starting to buy, you know, new cars and things like that. So this will cater to many individuals and an ever-changing scope of adult-aged people. So basically down here it talks a little bit about how the truck body crossover soul. So it's got the body of a truck, but it's got the soul of a crossover. We weren't being facetious about those crossover roots. The Santa Cruz is very much a mildly restyled 2020 Tucson with a bed. Well, at least the exterior is redone. The Santa Cruz interior is a complete copy-paste job of its SUV alter egos. Don't mistake this for slander, as the new Tucson is a solid compact crossover still against the Honda Ridgeline 2021 Macho Makeover and the Maverick's bouquet of butchness. The Santa Cruz claims the inauspicious title of the latest truck-looking truck on the market. Hey, dare to be different. The Maverick is born from the bloodline of two crossovers, its most direct progenitor being the new Ford Bronco. Of course, take a pry bar to the body panels of the baby Bronco, and you'll find the dressed-up skeleton of the Ford Escape. You likely wouldn't have known that from just looking at the Maverick, as the automaker did a bang-up job making a front-wheel drive unibody ute look very much like a scaled-down F-150. It's upright and tough-looking, and from some angles, it looks more truckish than even current-gen Ford Ranger. In contrast to the Hyundai's interior, the Maverick's cockpit is a complete departure from those of its closed cabin cousins. This is a wickedly clever little truck to keep costs down and open with an MSRP around 20 grand. Ford got creative with materials and packaging and presentation. Both the Maverick and Santa Cruz in this comparison are loaded out max frill examples, so your mileage may vary with the more plebeian trims. We did, however, have the opportunity to drive and experience the mid-range XLT volume trim on a separate Maverick, but since the same cannot be said for Santa Cruz, we'll simply confirm that even lower trims of the Ford have a smart and excellently packaged interior. And as we can see here, some of the photos, the interior does look very luxurious, and this is really where the truck market is going these days. People want luxury in their trucks. They don't just want a truck anymore. They want an all-around, everyday driver, comfortable vehicle to get them from point A to point B. So down here it says, right off the bat, there are battle lines to be drawn between each trucklet's target buyer type. Each of the three trim levels of Maverick offer a distinct two-tone color palette based on the standard dark blue plastic trim on the dash and center console, the former ranging from darker blue XL, speckled white with orange-red accents XLT, and chocolate brown Lariat. Ford's choice of plastic variety is inspiring. The untextured, unfinished trim presents itself as a material found on outdoorsy gear you might pick up at REI. So basically, I'm not going to read this whole spiel for you all, but basically the interior is very luxurious and very unique and very easy on the eyes, and it also looks extremely comfortable on the inside. So the Maverick is giving you all that luxury you would find on a full-size truck in a much smaller size truck with a lower starting price point. Down here, we get into some of the dimensions of the two pickup trucks, and as you can see there in the photo, they look very different from this photo. They're both small pickup trucks, but one, Ford, was trying to kind of make a smaller version of its larger truck, whereas Hyundai Santa Cruz, or Hyundai as a whole, was really just trying to offer a different model of its Tucson in a way. Interior-wise, the major differences between the two stop at the aesthetics and structural packaging. Your passengers' front and rear will experience no dramatic spike in comfort in one truck over the other. So it looks like both of them offer about the same interior as far as luxury, as far as comfort, and as far as rideability for passengers. The Santa Cruz is 40.7 inches of front headroom and 40.1 inches of rear headroom, best the Maverick by 2.7 and 0.6 inches respectively, with the sunroof closed, but the Ford stretches out to 42.8, 36.9 inches of front/rear legroom to the Hyundai's 41.14 and 36.5. South Korea's Ute claims passenger shoulder room superiority with 57.6 inches from in the front and 56.1 inches to the rear. Mavericks 57.3 to 55.6. So overall, a little bit here, a little bit there, but basically the interior room is generally speaking about the same on both vehicles. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's quite a significant difference in bed size and amenities. The Santa Cruz shuttles landscape bricks and firewood with a 4.3-foot bed, the base of which is made from the sheet molded composite rather than the traditional steel or aluminum, which, much like the Honda Ridgeline, how apropos as the Hyundai bed also includes a small trunk-like compartment under its rear section, just like the Honda. There are drain plugs to allow it to serve as a drink or perishables cooler, but it's pretty shallow, so be wary of potential smushed items. The Hyundai also offers an integrated retractable metal tonneau cover that locks for precious or weather-sensitive cargo, integrated bumper steps, and LED bed lights to help you find your stuff. The Ford's bed is a bit more traditional, though. There are a few tricks to be found. A 4.5-foot steel bed with the optional spray-in, drop-in liner serves as the sole configuration. So it looks like you get a little bit more bedroom. It's just a hair at 4.3 foot with the Hyundai Santa Cruz and 4.5 foot with the Ford Maverick. So basically what we can see here is you get a little bit more bed space in the Maverick, and the interior space is about the same between both trucks. Down here, we're going to get into a little bit more of the engine talk. For the sake of this comparison, we're sticking solely to the range-topping turbocharged powertrains featured in our star cars, ignoring the Maverick's exceptional base hybrid train and the Santa Cruz's naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder that will be made available for front-wheel drive applications. So this means our test, Santa Cruz buzzed around the 2.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, good for about 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque, through an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission and all-wheel drive. A dual clutch is something rated for towing, is a bit of an eyebrow raiser, but it's interesting to note the configuration is not offered on the Tucson. Instead, only the larger Santa Fe. In our testing, this combo was good for a more than an adequate 6.2 second 0 to 60, right on up to a 14.7 second quarter-mile finish. Pony to pony, the Santa Cruz has the Maverick beat. So basically, what you're going to be looking at is a faster truck in the Tucson, or the Santa Cruz, excuse me, over the Maverick, which is interesting because Ford has been touted as pushing out the most power out of their turbocharged engines, but it looks like Tucson has it beat, or the Santa Cruz has it beat. And so because of that, if you're looking for a more speedier truck, you may want to go with the Santa Cruz. If you're looking for a little bit more bed space, the Maverick is going to cater to your needs. So how do they drive? Well, basically, surprise, surprise, both drive exactly as you might expect a pair of B-bedded crossovers would. Though the Hyundai was the biggest surprise, it feels more like a Sonata with a bed than a crossover from the driver's throne, particularly when city streets give way to that curvy mountain pass. It feels planted and predictable with plenty of power. There's also plenty of grip to get around rough surface curves. As advertised, it drives like an anti-truck. Acceleration is thick and smoother than you would expect of a dual clutch, a notably more cohesive experience than what you get with the turboed Ford. There's good responsiveness, instant torque, not much lag, making it a better, smoother implementation than the Maverick's turbocharged drivetrain. The Maverick is hardly a snoozer, however, as it does in the Bronco Sport. The 2.0-liter doesn't feel quite like it actually puts down the figures it claims, or perhaps some power gets siphoned off by the all-wheel drive system and or traction control in the transition from rod to road. but power is still solidly in the punchy category. It has a fairly broad power band, and we all like the quick shifting automatic transmission, which features smartly chosen gear ratios. So overall, these are both very fun to drive, apparently, and very sporty and very quick-ish, I should say. But it looks like the Hyundai Santa Cruz has it beat as far as its performance and just overall speediness. Yes, they can both go off-road. So basically down here it talks a little bit about their off-road capabilities. And without making this video too extremely long, we're basically just going to go ahead and skip to some of the more interesting stuff. So terrain modes are noticeably absent from the Hyundai's menu, with only Comfort, Eco, Sport, and Smart available. So other than its fake brake-based faux diff lock functionality, you're on your own to figure out the best method of attack. We shouldn't have to be so worried. It never ran into any issues, though deeply rutted sand paths, as long as speed was maintained. Only on a non-deep sand-covered hill did it bog down and require some semi-careful planning to avoid stalling. Those already planning on the remote hip camp locale shouldn't have any problem making the trek. If you like more capability cushion without resorting to a true four-wheel drive mid-size truck, pick the Maverick FX4. 2 extra modes, sand and mud ruts, are added, and alongside traditional hill descent control. If you're really roughing it off-road, it feels very playful on accent of its lightweight, and its all-terrain tires have a lot of grip. So basically, it looks like the Ford Maverick has proven itself to be more off-road worthy than the Hyundai Santa Cruz. But in my own personal opinion, I don't believe either of these trucks are really being bought for off-road capabilities. But if there is that chance you go camping off-road, you may want to think about the Maverick over the Santa Cruz. So down here, it gets into some of the towing, right? And the towing isn't strong suit of either truck, but maximums of 4,000 pounds for the Maverick and 5,000 pounds for the Santa Cruz are more than enough for a small camper trailer and small-scale power stuff like dirt bikes and wave runners. The Santa Cruz tows a load easily and confidently. You can barely tell there's a trailer behind it, save for a whiff of sway. The dual-clutch transmission had no issues with the extra weight. The Ford was left confident pulling the same 3,000-pound load, but it is managed fairly well. The trailer seemed to boss the truck around a little bit, but an aftermarket trailer brake controller might help prevent some of the sensation. We wouldn't hesitate to tow with the Ford again, although we might keep 2 smaller loads without a controller. So basically, the Santa Cruz beats the Maverick in towing capabilities with a maximum of 5,000 pounds versus the Maverick's 4,000 pounds, but you have to kind of take that as you will, and both trucks are capable of towing something more smaller, like a small camper style trailer and or a small jet ski or wave runner, so to speak. So let's take a look at price points and compare those two. So basically, both turbocharged engines and all-wheel drive are starting at $36,000. Since that combination is tethered to the top 2 trims, our test truck stuck at a $41,990 lump at our throat. That is very outlandish for a small truck, in my own personal opinion, and $41,000 is just way too much to be spending on a very small pickup truck. Now, if you get the naturally aspirated engine, it nets you an all-wheel drive at around $26,000, but expect to pay a little more for the optional extras like bed accessories and interior niceties, as well as take quite a bit more time to get where you're going. The headlines weren't exaggerating as regards the Maverick's price. You can get a front-wheel drive for a smidge over $20,000. Our orange truck wasn't that cheap, being significantly pricier at $38,895, but if you're on a budget, there's quite a bit of fat to trim and needless infotainment upgrades, leather trim, driver assist, and the sunroof. Most buyers will find the sweet spot for an all-wheel drive Maverick falling somewhere in the high $20,000 or low $30,000 range. So it looks like all of those pros that you get with the Santa Cruz are kind of outweighed a little bit on the price point. It looks like the Santa Cruz is going to run you significantly more money than the Ford Maverick. So if you're balling on a budget, you may want to think about the Ford Maverick over the Hyundai Santa Cruz. And down here it talks about how the individuals who wrote this article are just so excited to see how these trucks perform in the real world aspects and the real world market. But basically they rated them down here and they put the Hyundai Santa Cruz in second place. So let's see why that is. Some of the pros they listed: refined high-quality interior and attractive exterior, smooth, robust turbocharged engine, sturdy and lockable roll-up tonneau cover. Some of the cons: stepping up to the turbo is quite expensive, doesn't truck as well as it lifestyles, capacity controls can frustrate. And down here they put in first place the Ford Maverick, surprisingly. And that is the Lariat FX4 model. Some of the pros are exceptional value for money, interior is wildly creative and clever, looks the part of a pickup truck. Some of the cons are engine feels a bit weaker than its rating, upper trims can get fairly expensive, Lariat interior isn't a substantial upgrade. So it looks like the Ford Maverick is rated as the #1 mini pickup truck thus far, especially by MotorTrend.com. And the Hyundai Santa Cruz comes in second place, but it has some pretty decent pros of its own. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Which truck do you like better? I'd love to hear all of your feedback. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date, future updates on the Auto Endeavors channel. And with all that being said, until next time, we'll see y'all.